Good morning and welcome, everyone. My name is Eddie. I've been a student of various spiritual philosophies for 27 years. I discovered Ram Ashram Satsang 14 years ago and found it a very effective method of inner yoga. It is an important part of my life. It is very enjoyable. If you are new to Satsang, I hope that you will enjoy it as well. Do we have the infographic? This infographic explains important concepts and other relevant information related to satsang in this workshop. It is intended to make you familiar with essential concepts, structure, and practices that comprise this satsang. Let us start with the word satsang. Satsang is how we achieve peace, light, and love. It is composed of two words, sat and sang. Sat means the positive energy or the positive state. Sang means to be with or in the company of. So the word satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. Next, meditation. Meditation is an essential core component of satsang. During satsang, music will help us to transition into meditation, during which time our hearts become more open and peaceful as we get infused with light and love. Next, the word inner orientation. Satsang can be divided into two categories, outer satsang and inner satsang. An example of an outer satsang would be chanting. On the contrary, our satsang is an inner satsang where we meditate silently. Group sessions. Group sessions compared to solo sessions it can improve your meditation practice. And is an opportune time to engage in a group meditation during these workshops. Agenda. Today's agenda. Next slide, please. Today's agenda will consist of 3 sessions. First session is an informative session where students are introduced to satsang, the founder, or some main topic. The duration of this session is 20 minutes long. The second session is the practice session. In this session, students will learn how to meditate before practicing the meditation. This period of time is 40 minutes long. The last section, or the interactive session, will consist of a question and answer period and or a panel discussion. Next slide, please. Okay. There are basically 4 themes that we'll deal with during these workshops. And the first theme is inner peace. The second is yoga philosophy and satsang. The third is personal progress through satsang. And the fourth is manifesting transcendental energy. Next slide. This satsang workshop is designed to teach you how to achieve peace, light, and love. All with the effect of having to make your life more joyful and content and have a positive impact on your behavior. Guru Maharaj was the founder of Ramashram Satsang Madura. He created this new simplified system of yoga so that everyone could achieve a life full of peace, light, and love. We will practice it today. Sanjeev Kumar will facilitate that. But first, let me briefly introduce you to our session facilitator, who has practiced yoga for over 40 years and is Guru Maharaj's grandson. Raised in India into a satsang family where many members use the satsang method mentioned above, he has personally witnessed their transformation into enlightened beings leading lives filled with peace, light, and love. Upon arriving in the United States and driven by his charitable mission to spread satsang globally, he and his wife conducted satsang for satsangees. Later, around 2005, he started using online satsang during the recent pandemic. During the recent pandemic, online satsang brought people together from many regions, including those in the remote villages in India. From the comfort of their own homes, they participated. They were able to charge their dwellings with positive energy every morning and evening while enjoying satsang. Generally speaking, he's an excellent choice to be our session facilitator today because he is committed to introducing satsang to anyone willing to learn, regardless of religious beliefs, race, and caste. Presently, he travels throughout the United States and India, facilitating satsang sessions while carrying out his duties as a husband, father, and IT executive. So now, let me welcome Brother Sanjeev Kumar to tell us more about satsang and the practice established by Guru Maharaj.
So welcome everyone to another satsang session. Today we will, and thanks Eddie, and thanks everyone for being here. So today we will talk a little bit about inner peace before we get into the practice and meditate. One of the things Guru Maharaj used to say is, what's the root cause of worry? It's, spinning something, one thought again and again and again in your head. So while there are situations, but running something in your head again and again, it's not going to solve the problem. So why do that? Dalai Lama, it talks about that you should not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. It's we got to reflect on that. But, to do that, the question is, how do we get to that state where what other people are saying or doing doesn't affect our inner peace? So we talked about in the last weekend, we talked about the internal states, 5 internal states through which we have to go before you get to the land of peace. And what happens is that in every step as you take, your inner peace and hence your inner happiness. So inner peace and inner happiness are, heavily interconnected, and they continue to increase in terms of consistency and, the level as we go through those 5 steps. And that I would say that's real personal progress. Now, if we go a little bit deeper, So if we talk about, say, peace of mind, and let's say that's inner calm, it refers to an internal state of tranquility. And when you have peace of mind, you're at ease with yourself. You have a sense of self-compassion, unruffled by day-to-day worries. And that's the key there, unruffled by day-to-day worries, prepared to welcome whatever life tosses your way. And interestingly, I was born into a satsang family, and I saw some of the people who were role models of that, like having a state where these things are not just words, but are demonstrated through their behavior, to be at ease with oneself, um, you know, compassion for everyone, including, sense of self-compassion, unruffled by day-to-day worries, and prepared to welcome whatever is tossed, uh, you know, whatever life tosses your way. Now, so the thing is, what happens when you can't find peace of mind? So I mean, today, like, the demands of everyday life can lead to stress and other emotional turmoil almost on a constant basis. And social media doesn't help either. So, the question is, you cannot escape life's challenges, um, and inner peace won't make your difficulties completely disappear. But peace of mind is so important because it can help you remain calm in the face of distress by easing the feeling of anxiety, worry, and overwhelm. So without peace of mind, you might eventually see a lot of the symptoms that anxiety and stress brings, like sleep disturbances, aches and pains, fatigue and low energy, um, anger or irritability, uh, difficulty in concentration, um, and even relationship conflicts and things like that. So that said, the question here is how inner peace and meditation or satsang are interconnected. And I took this as one of the themes because if your behavior can get better with meditation, your uh, so I think if I look at meditation and satsang, almost as you get deeper in your practice, the chances that you will, um, get some control over your mind, enhance your thoughts, enhance your emotions and desires. So it's interesting. So for some people, and actually I have folks who have joined these sessions, and just after a few sessions, the feedback was that the way I react to people has changed. The way I react to situations is, somewhat better. Um, but, the thing is that your inner peace is intertwined with your thoughts, and your thoughts are intertwined with your emotions. And if you take a little another step, it's the desires. So one of the reasons why peace is so elusive is that if we don't control our thoughts, and we don't control our and actually emotion/thoughts, because when you get emotional, that affects our thoughts, then that affects our inner peace. So another key word here is, so when I look at the definition of peace, it's not just calm and tranquility. It is slightly more than that. It's like almost like feeling complete. It's almost like there is a presence of something else. And that's what I feel satsang also provides, that, sense of contentment. And the other factor here is inner. So peace in itself is huge, but when you attach this inner peace, it directly then connects to your inner states. How you are reacting to the situations, reacting to the world. So inner peace is interestingly, connected to joy and inner happiness. So if you are at peace inside, the inner joy, the inner happiness. Now, if I was to define what's inner happiness, it's happiness which is not connected with, events outside. So typically, we just look for happiness in some material things or material possessions or things that, quote unquote, give us happiness. The question is, we within have that joy. Um, so, uh, you know, so anyway, can you roll that you on to the next one? So I think I have talked through this. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, so inner peace is, again, connected with thoughts and, allow the dust to settle to see the clear water. Keep going. So inner happiness is, something that you feel within, and it's I think Panthu is not here today, but he talks about a joy meter, and so sometimes the joy and happiness will go uh, you know, to one positive side, then sometimes to lesser happiness and or sadness. But then you settle down to an equilibrium position. So the joy meter, like every time things happen, you go one way, positive or negative, but then you settle somewhere. That's where you settle is the measure of inner peace. And where you settle that point, if it continues to grow, your inner happiness, like uh, the happiness that is not connected with events and outer world, it's your internal state. So that inner happiness positively continues to grow and get higher and higher with satsang and with meditation. So I think that's the key here. Guru Maharaj talked about, that quite a lot, that, in this particular approach, unlike Kundalini Jagran and Hatha Yoga and some other methods where, you would hear different sounds at different stages, different types of lights at different stages. Here, all that is kind of hidden because it kind of drives you towards, you know, um, getting a little more towards ego. So, all that is a distraction. Just inner peace. If your inner peace is increasing, your inner calm is increasing, you are on the right track. And if you want to be peaceful, look inwards, meditate, and through that, looking inwards and meditating would control your barrage of thoughts, reduce stress and anxiety, control desires and emotions, and hence improve inner happiness and joy. So that's pretty much, you know, the summary there. So let's transition to meditation now. So as usual, basically some basic things. Relax posture. Sit in a posture that you can sit for 15-20 minutes without moving too much, because every time the body moves, your mind moves with it. Eyes lightly closed, and then think of transcendental light that is in front of you, that's entering your heart, distributing throughout your body, and you are becoming completely immersed in this light. So, as its natural, mind will wander away. Let's bring it back. Um, when you realize that mind has wandered away, just bring it back to this thought that light is in front of you, entering your heart, distributing throughout your body, and you're getting completely immersed in this light. Let's start now. Okay. So hello, Neil. How are you? Luz, Shivangi, Anit.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I've been trying like guided meditations. I feel like guided meditations really work in terms of calming my thoughts, and usually in the evening after like doing my homework for the day and that kind of thing. And I've also like so that's just what I've been kind of doing the last 2 weeks. Every
Good.
day, try to do it in the evening, like do a 15 to 20 minute guided meditation that I can find on YouTube, and that kind of relieves my anxiety and stress for the day and kind of anything I'm thinking about for the next day. So, and then these sessions are really helpful. The satsang sessions are helpful for me too. Just also do it in the morning for me on every week. So yeah.
No, that's awesome. Good to hear. It's mindfulness. What I found was I'm a big fan. Uh, it's such a easy and effective way to bring you to the present moment. And to tell you the truth, I mean, we're talking about inner peace. Inner peace is, very closely associated to being in the present moment, because when you dwell in the past or, worry about the future, um, you're not at peace. So mindfulness brings you in the present moment very, very quickly and very effectively. And so I was thinking about that. Like I'm a fan of mindfulness, but I'm a bigger fan of heartfulness, which we do here. It's when you add that element that you're complete and you're full of positive energy, to that, um, and you know actually, as somebody who um, was a coach for me for a little bit, she used to start the sessions um, with mindfulness, and she also had a variation where when you breathe in energy and light and strength, and when you breathe out, you you know breathe out weakness and you know negative energy and um, you know weaknesses. So that um, pretty much, so I think you take one more step and you're in what we do here.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been, yeah, just, kind of connecting the mindfulness to the heartfulness and kind of using it to get inner peace, inner satisfaction, inner happiness. Yeah, I've struggled with that in the past in terms of just with self-esteem and those kind of things. So I'm trying to like get slowly into it, and using these satsang sessions just help me a lot.
Yeah. No, they do. I mean, we all struggle with something or the other, and just a kind of it's like balancing yourself, and almost grounding yourself in positive energy. That nothing better than that, personally. I feel. So hello, Rena. How are you?
Hi there. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, sorry, did I missed it. I totally forgot about the time, but as soon as I realized I joined. Um,
Yeah, the problem with meditation sessions is that once you kind of, it's like, did you, what time did you join before we talked about how to meditate or after?
I think after.
After.
I joined after.
Yeah.
When I joined, everybody was still and silent. So that's when I joined.
I remember I was having a session in Florida, and we talked at length about how to meditate and why, what, and all that. And then we actually, I use music here. We also have a traditional prayer. And so somebody joined when the prayer was going on, and they were like, "Hmm?" It's like, what happened here? And they were like completely lost, because after the prayers, we were totally in silence and meditating. And she was like, gosh, whatever.
I think
So,
that I'm familiar, Sanjeev, with satsang because I've done it before with family members. So I have a kind of idea or insight into it because I think my uncle's very spiritual ever since I was little. And I think for New Year's, I'm born on New Year's Eve, so New Year's Day we went to his house for dinner, and we actually did it, and we he spoke about it, and then we sat there for 45 minutes
yep.
in complete silence. But before that, I think we did a few prayers,
Mhm.
and then we sat there for 45 minutes. And to be honest, I found it difficult the first time,
Yeah.
kind of find my focus, but yeah, no, it was definitely, worth it. So when I saw this on Meetup, I thought I would definitely want to do it again. But um, next time, I promise I'll be on time. So
So,
I don't miss.
yeah. No. I mean, being here itself, very glad that you're here. Um, you know, the group energy is very infectious, I'm telling you. So it's always a positive impact. Um, yeah. We actually, incidentally, I'm not saying that it's short notice, but we also have another session in a few hours if you have time. Uh,
Yeah,
it's-
sure. What time is that?
so, Himanshu, what time would that be?
1:30 p.m. EST.
No, but for
One
UK.
It would be 6:30 GMT.
6:30. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, pretty much like this. I was doing sometimes. It's easier for people in India to join at this time, so I'm continuing this. But for UK, I've set up this 6:30 time.
Brilliant. Yeah. Yeah. Look
Yeah,
forward to it.
yeah. If you have time, please do. Yeah. So, Arvindji, how are you?
Namaskar, Bhaiya, and namaskar to everybody. Yeah, I'm well, thank you, Bhaiya. I'm just lucky to be able to join you and everybody. So thank you.
So, yeah. Anything on inner peace? Any?
Oh, well, all I can say is that it's something that can only be really achieved if one follows. I think if one follows the path Guru Maharaj showed us, and you and Eddie, as you've said, and the experience of the inner peace perhaps comes through. Uh, it's like having bliss, or almost like having rain in the desert, or a small oasis in the middle of Sahara Desert, and how nice that feels one from the hot sun, and you get this blissful, green and lush green and all that feeling and moisture outside the hot desert. That's the closest I can come to it, thinking about it.
Yeah, as you were describing, the two things come to my mind. One is, you can talk about the verses, but being there, that experience is, just brings joy and, happiness, like almost. So, I mean, inner peace is not something to talk about. This is to internalize, right? To really experience. And fortunately, yeah, meditation and satsang do that for you. But another thing that, as you were describing, and you have seen yourself, just the most simple and effective way to um, feel inner peace is to be with someone who is at peace. And I'm saying that because Arvind ji has grown up with me. I mean, I remember meeting him when I was in high school, and the family was both families were in satsang, and we have seen people who just you sit with and you feel like you don't have to do anything to be at peace. And that in itself, I think that's the definition of satsang. Don't you agree, Arvindji?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yeah. And I just am very, very, very fortunate. Consider myself very fortunate. Yeah.
So Eddie, you or Liz, you want to add something to discussion?
Well, good morning or good afternoon to some, I guess.
Yeah, good afternoon to some, and actually it's evening to some in India. So,
Well,
yeah.
hello to all. And as always, I had a wonderful session this morning. Um, so my personal experience now is, as I've mentioned in the past, I had to kind of move around a little bit because I'm suffering from a bit of a back. And so, but I actually had a good experience. I find that the time I meditate affects how the meditation goes. So I feel like when I meditate at 10 a.m. Or this slot of time, um, I do have. I mean, it's not like the thoughts. I know that meditation allows for the natural arising of thoughts. I mean, we can't necessarily um, quash that. But thoughts do arise, but they might be kind of like good insights that I'm too busy to think about during the week. Like my other thoughts push those insights out. But when I'm in a relaxed state and I'm focusing, certain like positive insights arise, and I entertain them for a second, and then I try to kind of go back to the light, but I appreciate that. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if that's the goal, but it happens.
No, it happens. Actually, believe it or not, I have tried that. Say, if I am stuck in some, like when you get stuck with some thought or some situation where you don't know which way to go, sometimes, they say sleep on it. I meditate on it sometimes. And what I do though is I'm telling you, I do get insights during meditation too. But typically, what I try is that you meditate on something, but the way you do is you think about, okay, the problem or thing that you want to solve. Then you meditate the way you would like try to, uh, not bring in thoughts as far as possible. And then after the meditation, whatever comes to you is after that meditation where you have blank, taken, a meditation to me is count to 10 times, whatever, and, sleep on it or walk. And actually the mind requires that to analyze. So if you meditate, and then what comes to you usually is uh, something that has it's very interesting actually psychologically when you give mind some space and time, like taking a walk, it analyzes stuff and gives you the result.
Mm.
So there are actually, I want to have a workshop or a series just on what the neuroscientists have found out about our brain, which, there is very little that we know. One of the things is like when we think when we are resting, our mind is resting, and that's not true. So why we love music is like when we get concentrated on music, our mind actually, the running around that mind is doing gets concentrated on one thing, and that, uh, you know, uh, actually is mind's rest or brain's rest. And similarly, meditation does the same. So I want to take some of those things and like put them together because it actually does make sense that meditation is not just, a east or west issue. It's a very important piece that we should integrate into our lives.
Very interesting. Yeah, that sounds like it would be an interesting session.
Yeah, I actually, and I don't know why I'm so slow. I just like these informal meetings and sessions, and I just love, to be in meditation with people. But there are these things that, Guru Maharaj has written like so many books, the 7-volume book, which, I mean, I find it so difficult to like translate and stuff like that. But uh, there are so many intertwined things. But I downloaded about 8 different articles on neuroscience, which just directly connects with why meditation matters. Yeah, I definitely would like to do that sooner rather than later, hopefully. So Eddie, what's the good word today?
Peace is always a good message. So I enjoyed that. So I just wanted to make some points, some review points that you mentioned that I think might be helpful. Um, you mentioned peace and you defined it. And, I just want to say briefly that it's essentially the cessation of disturbing thoughts. So as those thoughts that bring, negative emotions and make us upset, those things slowly are removed. And when they're gone, we experience peace. Um, the second thing would be we remain calm uh, in the face of taunts and agitation. And that is the chief marker of peace being in your life when you can do that. It's also known as equanimity and then also equipoise or equipoise. When we don't have peace, those disturbing thoughts are still present. And as a consequence of that, we suffer mental and emotional maladies. Now, the relationship between peace and satsang. Um, Inner satsang transforms those disturbing thoughts by basically getting rid of them. So as they're removed, we experience more peace. And then you mentioned the happiness and the rest state. Happiness is slowly increased in our rest state. By rest state, I mean that state of mind that we're in when we're not actively meditating. So our happiness increases in that state until it becomes joy. And then the last point here is how do we achieve peace? And we withdraw our senses and return within because um, that is the only way to find peace is inside ourselves. can't be found outside of ourselves. And secondly, continue to practice inner satsang, and that will ultimately also lead to peace. So that's kind of my summary, those points. And I guess one of the things that stands out the most is, the disturbing thoughts, and that we really need to get rid of those. So that plays a big part in us having peace and happiness and ultimately joy in our life.
And that was a great summary. So, Shivangi or Reena or Neil, any questions on that? Any or thoughts or comments?
Namaste, Bhaiya ji. Namaste, everyone. So yeah, one question. I think we're having a very good discussion about how meditation helps us, how it calms us down, how it grounds us. But one thing that I've experienced is that sometimes I am able, like in the same setting with people on this WebEx session, it's really good. Like I'm able to, do the things like focus on light and, calm the thoughts. And some days, like some sessions, is not as good. Like even though like there's nothing stressful going on, but sometimes it's easier. No, I won't say easier. It's just I experience a better meditative session sometimes, but not others. So what's going on? And how do I get consistent? And
Okay.
also, I'll ask a second part to that question. What is a good meditative session? Like when I have like gotten rid of all thoughts, or when I just have only one background thought? Like,
So let me start with the second question, because that's easier to answer. All meditations are good sessions. So, and let me explain. Okay, let me explain. The thing is that um, it actually is written and described, and that's in Hindi in great detail by Guru Maharaj. He says that, like you come to a meditation, like say if somebody is not uh, into it and comes to a meditation session and would experience some peace, some quiet, some calmness, something they would experience, that's why they would come again, right? But what happens is that, so you come again, you feel that calmness, and it's like, great, right? But few sessions later, there is no such thing as, a calm state, and thoughts are like running around. And it's like, oh, so have I slipped into, um, so my father talked about this and said, your job is to uh, observe and let it happen. So mind is used to a few things, right? And if you fight with it, mind has so much power that you cannot imagine, right? So the more you fight, the more like the spring, you press it, then you know so it works that way too. So he said, no, it's not fight. It is more like training, coaching, so what you do is you continue to observe and continue the practice, right? And so, but then there are some other pieces to it too. So my eldest uncle, Guru Maharaj's eldest son, he used to say that, let's say you have bad stomach, right? And you popped some pills, right? And then you went and ate the worst thing possible for that situation, right? And now you're expecting you should be okay, right? So there are things that you do through the day or, through the So that affects you, right? So not all days are the same, right? So when you come into meditation, that's why what I realized a few years back was, why prayers? Why, discussions? Why all this? If we just go meditate, boom, done, right? 15, 20 minutes and we're over. But how many times you go into a meditation and you are able to relax? The thing is that you have to transition in because your mind is going here, there, and everywhere. So first I have to orient it differently, right? So that orientation, music is the best vehicle for that, right? And if you're singing yourself, or chanting or something, just works wonders, right? And then you get into, but like if you just do that, like a lot of people say, oh, I meditate on music, great. But then you got to transition into inwards. Once you have turned inwards, go deeper. That's what we do in the silent meditation, right? So bottom line is that actually, and Guru Maharaj has documented this. So what happens is you will go through almost like 3 states. One is where you are euphoric, very, very happy, very full of light, and all that is like, oh, that is why I come to meditation. Then comes this, you close your eyes and a movie like thing goes on, and it's like, and people actually go through that where, it's like good, bad, and ugly things just pop up out of nowhere. Some things that you have not even seen before, right? So my father clarified that that is a state where it's like when you cleanse the room or you're trying to clean the room, the dust that was settled unsettles. So it's like that. You have to go through things that have been, embedded in there, cleanse. So the cleansing is important. So that state is important, right? And then there is a third state where you close your eyes and boom, you're like, it's like a sleep. It's dark. It's completely like, I'm not feeling anything. I'm just done. Uh, but that's, in a way, it's a very, it's not positively charged, but it is a very, quote unquote, still a calm situation because nothing is happening, right? So in our scriptures, it's Sat, Raj, and Tam. It's positively charged, negatively, or kind of negative, and then there are motion, right? So those are the 3 states that you go through. So your mind always has a dominant state. So there is a dominant state of positively charged thoughts. There is a dominant state of negative energy and negative, like whatever you do, you are just caught up in that negative. And then there are things where you're ambitious and you're thinking about like, hey, I need to do this and I can accomplish this and blah, blah, blah. But that's also not peace, right? So there is time to do this and there is time to do that. But at the end of the day, meditation is to go beyond these 3 states. But you will not go beyond these 3 states until unless you go through these. So Guru Maharaj's thing was like, okay, so what should I do when this happens? What should I do when that happens? His instruction was simple and clear. Your job is to sit in the meditation. What happens, you observe. This is about observing light, right? So sometimes just observe your mind, right? And then it will give way to things that you have never seen before. The calmness, the light, the, higher consciousness, which I just talk about, like unconditional love, this light, which is knowledge and peace, all that just comes through. It's like remove the curtains and the picture becomes so much clearer. So we all, so another thing that Guru Maharaj says is that this is not for a specific, person. It's for all of us, right? We all can achieve this state. All we have to do is just work to it. Find some time and prioritize. Make sense?
Yeah, that's a very good answer. Yeah, those are the things I was thinking about. Sometimes I'm just lost in thought. Sometimes I think I fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I
So
yeah.
interestingly, there was a discussion. So people do fall asleep. I have seen in-person satsangs where you can actually, there will be one person who's snoring. And I was like, gosh, what happened here? Right?
Just wanted to add, Sanjeev, that I've been there where like one of these uncles that come to the satsang, it's difficult because he snores so loud that I just lose my focus. I mean, I don't mean to be insensitive. I'm sure he's on his journey and he's finding peace in his what do you call it?
No,
his
so let me interrupt here, right? So the reason I'm doing that is like I've been there, done that myself, right? So the thing, so I got curious. So my first reaction was, hey, if he is sleeping, what's bad about that, right? I mean, this person, like a lot of people say, I can't sleep, right? So this person is come to satsang and he is merrily snoring. So that means he is in a good place. So, but then I got curious. I said, like, let me do some research. And what I found was that there was a very good video on YouTube which said sleep and meditation are not the same. So if you sleep and it's refreshing, it's absolutely important, and good sleep, I mean, we can write and talk and at length. But who got higher consciousness through sleep is the question, right? It's like, so in that video, they talked about like meditation is to be awake, quote unquote, from the inside. And sleep is different. So just Rita, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's for me to interrupt you because you were talking first, but I'm glad that you brought that up because when I have these conversations with my uncle, he says that you find it between consciousness and unconsciousness. So obviously you said the brain is always active. When we're sleeping, our brain is always awake in a sense. So he said to find the in between, which like I can relate to Luz, or that's what's coming up on the name.
Luz, yeah.
She mentioned something like that where she might struggle to focus. And to be honest, for 45 minutes when I was sitting with my uncle and his wife, I went everywhere in my mind. And I think that it's work in progress. I don't think that everyone can get it straight away. I think it's practice like anything. But yeah, coming back to my uncle said, and it might be the opposite to what you're teaching us today, is that it's in between the conscious and subconscious. And that's where you find it. And it's almost like, okay, then. And I think I did, like, I sat there for 45 minutes, and I think just to the end, I felt the feeling of when you're just tired and you're just about to doze off. And I just wanted to know, is it that? Because I'm not actually sleeping, I'm awake, but it's that sense of kind of peace, like letting go. Would you say that that's what, because I'm not sleeping?
Yeah, see, sometimes these, you know, uh, there are like very subtle differences,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, so being, so what happened was, I always go on a tangent and on a segue. So what happened was, in one of these sessions, I got someone who actually said that, for me, blanking the mind is no big deal. And I was like, so after some interaction, and I'm saying, huh, that's very interesting. I mean, Maharishi Patanjali, who's father of yoga philosophy, says blanking your mind is yoga. So has he reached there? And then once I interacted, I found, maybe he can blank his mind, but he doesn't seem to be on the target state where peace, light, and love. That's when this came to me that it's more than blanking your mind, um, because there has to be wisdom of higher level, higher consciousness. It's a different state. So while you're right, sleep takes, I mean, it's so important for us, that we sleep well, and sleep in itself has so many elements. But if you actually go look at the Eastern scriptures, sleep is still, um, it's like the sleep and being awake are like two distinct states, right? Um, so sleep is always considered to be more, quote unquote, so it's Sat Raj Tam, Sat being the positive, Tam being the negative, and Raj is where you are, there is action or motion or passion. So both, it's the positive that meditation uplifts. So your positive energy is uplifted. Um, so the other two states, there is no peace in sight, because yes, it might be calming when everything is blank, but you need that uplifting energy. So sleep, it doesn't have that awake or awareness or that consciousness that we talk about, that we associate with meditation. So I'm all for a good sleep, and I personally feel that meditation gives you that ability too. And I personally still feel that, if somebody gets a good sleep because they're trying to meditate, I'm not against that at all. Uh, but we need, in that particular video that I watched, was very, very clear that, we have to distinguish between being awake and being asleep. And I feel that's absolutely on point. But what you're thinking, uh, you know, so when we meditate and we forget about our environment and ourselves, and so yeah, we go towards the subconscious and unconscious, and I feel that you you know only 5% of our work is done through our conscious mind. Ev- Most 95% of the work is done by reflex action through subconscious and unconscious. So um, the thing is that meditation does uh, impact some of that, and it goes beyond our conscious mind, especially deep meditation. So I'm not disagreeing that, what you're saying in terms of, the piece is towards going towards that. Absolutely, yes. Um, but there is a subtle difference between the two.
Okay. No, I totally understand and respect and appreciate what you're saying, and I will take it on board. I just like just to point out when Arvin said that he described his experience of how he felt, which was sounded very much like a lovely forest, lots of greenery. So I feel like of course everyone is different. We're all different human beings. So you would say that, or you would agree that whatever sense of peace we will have will differ from each other. So what Arvind would, how he would feel and how I would feel, it would be a different experience, yes?
So let's think about the difference between there is light and there is darkness,
Mm-hmm.
right? I might get very used to darkness, and that becomes my, go-to place. But that doesn't. So what I'm trying to say is that yes, I agree that every individual experience is different, but I actually, Yuan, can you bring the 5 levels? Um, the, the so basically, what happens is that, say, there are states you can define, and in each of those states, there are certain you call them symptoms or experiences or how you feel. So if there were like multiple states, your experience will be different, but I'm trying to think like, say, if there is light versus if there is darkness, the way you will describe light and the way you will describe darkness, Arvindji does that, or you do that. You might define it slightly differently. You might perceive it slightly differently. You might even, experience it differently. But light will be described one way, darkness will be described another way. And so what I'm saying is that Arvindji's light will not be your darkness. What I'm trying to say is like, if both of you are describing light, there will be some common elements. Am I going through? Maybe I'm struggling with.
No, I
several.
totally understand what you mean. Yeah, so yeah, that's definitely true. If we're happy, we will experience happiness in a good way.
Yeah.
Obviously, it will be a different type of happiness, but the feeling is the
Yeah.
commonality, which is a sense of happiness, a sense of enlightenment, and how we experience it is very different from one another. However, it's the same thing, which, that I'm just using happiness as an example because you use like lightness and darkness. So, yes, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you, Sanjeev.
Yeah. It's fascinating. Go ahead. Yeah.
If I may, what I was just to clarify, what I was trying to explain, it's almost impossible to explain this, but when I was trying to share sort of experience, it was like from moving in a desert, as I said, in a Sahara desert, Arizona desert, Thar desert, hot, the life's desert, hot, dry, sunny, parched. And what I was suggesting was the experience of being close to the power, and in this case, it could be Puji Sanjeev Ji, Puji Sanjeev Ji's dad, people who have that connection. And once you come in that sphere, you face and you come in that sphere. So it's not about meditating, alone, on your own and, not being connected. Once you connect, there's a difference in sort of, I believe, this satsang, as Eddie described, as Puj Sanjeev Bhaiya is delivering. This satsang, to me, is connecting with that spiritual bliss And when you do that, the transition is like from a hot desert where you're burning up into an oasis of peace, love, calm, bliss. And there, one of the spiritual saints that I had very good fortune of meeting, thanks to Sanjeev ji, used to say that when you're in hot sun, 50, 45-degree centigrade temperature, and then you move up, somebody brings you under the shade of a cool, lush green tree and offers you a lovely drink of fresh juice, yeah, a really nice tasting juice, and you are parched. And when you drink that juice, the experience you've got from being parched, hot, and dry, you cannot describe that. It's just bliss. And how do you describe bliss? It's that was my humble thought, really.
Thank you. I really appreciate that explanation. I feel like it's from what I get from this whole desert thing, from what I see is that is it's not is it does it do you struggle to get to that place of, the oasis and
Yeah.
the drink and is that all your negative thoughts? It's like, are you going through that darkness and you describe it as that desert and you're going through those thoughts that almost seems like the desert is like you're fighting through those negative thoughts or those thoughts that are, trying to get to that place? Is that's what I'm getting from you. So the desert is you're trying to get to that oasis and
Yep.
then you get there. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead, Arvindji.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So it's about life. Life's a roller coaster. So, for example, if I'm treating a patient that's dying in the hospital, or I cannot cure them or something like that, and that's a stressful situation, and you carry that stress. And when I sit in in front of somebody like Puja Sanjeev ji's dad or Sanjeev ji, and you sit down and you suddenly get the bliss, you feel that, you close your eyes and you feel the bliss in your heart, and it just brings another sphere of influence in your roller coaster of the usual life. You may be a banker, you may be doing something else, or you may have whatever. Life's a roller coaster, and we all have our own lives. Somebody is a student, somebody is doing something else. And what this brings is, it brings you, I think, close to that spiritual bliss, and it allows, as Sanjeev Bhaiya said, it removes the curtain, and it, the power of Guru, helps you remove the curtain and bring out the bliss that's within all of us, and that bliss connects. It's a connection. That's what it's all. To me, that's what it's all about, is the connection.
No,
And
so
so,
Rena, basically what I found was that, we all talk about peace, we all talk about love, we all talk about, light. But so when I came to US, I thought, like, a lot of things that I grew up with are kind of left behind. And I struggle, seriously. I struggle to define satsang to people here. The reason I am still trying, and the reason I even started, is that, I mean, obviously, my father has something to do with it too. He nudged me in this direction. But what I really feel, the reason is it's worth it, in my view, is because we all talk about it, but we very, very, very few who actually get to the oasis. That's the unfortunate piece. And what I find around me at work, and people are caught up in such petty things and such amazingly like things that they can let go, they don't, and hence they are not at peace. And I'm like, it's so rampant. The culture just doesn't let us be naturally be at peace at all. So yes, we have to do our, stuff. No harm in that. But not having peace for 30 seconds in a day, I think that's disservice to ourselves. And what oasis, we're talking about, this same example that Arvindji took, like, when you go under the tree and you drink some fresh juice, so Guru Maharaj, Panditji Maharaj, who was Guru Maharaj's disciple, who traveled, you know, uh, extensively to talk about these things, he said that, when you are talking about the juice, you're not drinking it. And when you're not drinking it, you're not experiencing it. So a lot of people talk about it, but there are very, very few who really experience it. So being at that oasis is so rare. So few people get to that state. That amazes me. And I'm telling you, actually, it amazes me on one hand, because I have seen people who got there. And then it doesn't amaze me because I see myself. I'm caught up in things which, my kids did this, and my work is doing this, and my this situation and that situation, and mind just keeps me running around, because that has become the second nature, and peace is hard to find.
Can I jump in here for a second?
Sure.
So I have two questions from this discussion, right? So one is, it seems to me this particular type of practice, satsang, one integral aspect of it is to have a guru, or to do it in a community, to have a shared sense of connection.
Yes,
with,
to
with
both.
a leader who has like a kind of a, with a leader who's maybe reached that state that we're trying to reach, and we can kind of, share in that energy.
Right.
And then the second question I guess I have is, it is rare to reach that state, but what does it, I guess what I'm hearing is, maybe Rena has one way that she experiences, if she's had experienced it, or Arvindji has had a different, like, but how do you know that you've reached it? Like, how do you know?
Liz, I just want to say that I haven't experienced it yet. I'm also on that journey as well. I mean, when I do, I'd love to give you some feedback, but I haven't got there yet. So I'm, with what you shared with us, I think that I also struggle as well, but I'm looking forward to getting to that oasis and having that drink. But I haven't got there yet, but I'm work in practice. I'm work in progress.
We're all work in practice.
we are all work in practice. Yeah.
And I kind of liked what you said, Sanjeev, about all meditation is good meditation, because I don't see it as a struggle when I have those arising thoughts. It's actually helpful. It's like, ooh, that's a good thought. I'm going to put that on the shelf, and when I'm finished, I'll turn.
So think about it this way. If I had negative thoughts and negative emotions and negative spiral going on, I feel one way, right? Then if I replace them with some positive thoughts and positive emotions and positive spiral is going on, I feel quote unquote better. But I'm still on the move. So when meditation is kind of going beyond this and this to the next stage. So positive thoughts are definitely better than the negative, and they are helpful. But we still have work to do to go beyond that, because peace is beyond both of those. So Luz, I'm not saying that. Lot of positive inspirations and thoughts and all those are great, but then this is still work in progress. It's a good step, very good, but then we have to work towards moving further. Does
And then
that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense completely.
Right?
But when do you know that you're there?
Oh yeah. So now going to that. So let's say this. If, like, say I've done my bachelor's, right? Now I decided, okay, I'll go for further, and then I'll, sign up for a PhD. Do I become a different person? So the thing is that there is this additional knowledge, which is now, like, not many people have that, right? Uh, does that make me like, I don't become, it's not that you become a unicorn or something. It's just that you have a, additional knowledge than the average person, right? So the ability to not to be perturbed by ups and downs in life is probably a very, very uncommon thing. I mean, a lot of people get there, then there's a higher degree, then their higher degree, but getting to a point where you understand that these things are not, something that we need to get so upset about and all that. That's in itself is a kind of knowledge, right? So I think, Luz, you were there when we were talking about Sahaj Samadhi, the natural state of higher consciousness, right? It's like the person is the same, but the way they react to things has become completely different, right? The thing is, like, I'm sitting here today, and instead of thinking about there is a just human beings, like, what's the right thing? It's like I see transcendental energy in each one of you, and I only connect to that. And hence now I'm connected to multiple times the energy that I have because I'm here. Now that is a state of mind, like state of being, where just by coming to satsang, I exponentially increase my connection to this transcendental energy. Now, so people who are able to do that, who see, the same energy, uh, within each other and things like that, they have a different, they have acquired this state, they've acquired this knowledge, and hence, instead of getting upset with people, they are just getting uplifted by people. I mean, imagine that.
So then just to follow up a little bit, then it's not reaching a certain state during the meditation that is right what we're seeking. It's
Yes, yes.
through the meditation
Yeah.
reaching a level of consciousness that we carry with us outside of the meditation.
Absolutely, yes. So the thing though is that you only go in steps, right? So I have to go through my elementary and middle school and high school before I sign up for PhD. So if I don't acquire 15 minutes of my day to be in this, charged state, then how will I charge my entire day? Right?
Yeah.
So there are steps, that's why I like that 5 steps to nirvana, because I am changing myself. I'm transforming myself in every step. And as Reena was asking, and I think you were alluding it too, every step I can describe. You ask me a question, I can tell you which state that is coming from. So as we react to things, including what questions we ask, we give away what level we are at. So if I react in certain way, I'm at this level. I react this way. I mean, imagine like Mahatma Gandhi, I think, said that, if somebody slaps me, I'll give him the other cheek so that he can slap me there if he still intends to, because I can endure that. And his philosophy of nonviolence was that. So it's like, you have anger, you have something, you want to take it out on me, I can endure your slap, right? How would you react that way? Because your knowledge that the person is reacting, and now it's up to you how you react to that. So that is your own strength that will then take away the other person's anger, because you didn't get angry. So that gets very complicated very fast, though. But the thing is, I was just reading that this quote that don't others let you destroy your inner peace. What does that mean? Is like, how you react is completely in your control, and ought to be, but it's not for most of us. Wow. This was one question and answer session that wouldn't stop. It reminds me, in Bangalore once, I you know, I, I, I actually, so there was a community hall of a development, and we hired that community hall for a certain time. And then while we were having dinner, this Q&A went on and on and on. And then people came in and said, like, get out of here because your time is over. It's like, so I'm feeling that way right now. It's like, fortunately, in the online sessions, nobody is there to say that. So, but yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. I don't know. Now, Reena, I don't know how to describe this state, though. How would you describe it?
I
Yes.
don't know either. I have nothing to. What your state now? I don't know. I think when I tune into the 6:31, I'll tune into everything that I missed, and then I can see the 5 stages. That will be very interesting.
Yeah. Actually, today we talked about inner peace, and the 5 stages we talked about last week. But yeah, I can. We can talk about that, because see, I have what I've done is I've taken like 4 key topics out of the 7-volume book that my grandfather wrote, and those 4 themes I'm taking and trying to describe satsang in that backdrop. Like yoga philosophy is one of those, inner peace is another one, and this 5 steps to nirvana, which actually got documented in Upanishads thousands of years ago. So yeah,
And
we'll
one,
talk. Go ahead.
just quickly before, I don't obviously want to overwhelm you with more questions, but there's this thing, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I studied it when I was studying to become a primary school teacher, and it was called Maslow's hierarchy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was just wondering, and I will find out at the 6:31, but briefly, is it similar to that, self-actualization? and Maslow's hierarchy of the pyramid.
Actually, believe it or not, Himanshu, do you have that 5-step view?
One can share it now, probably.
I don't know where I kept that. Because what I did was Maslow's hierarchy on one side of the pyramid, and these 5 steps that Upanishads talk about in the other side of the pyramid. And I think there is a difference between the East and the West thought, but can we get this? So yeah,
yeah, I can see it.
Right. So can we get a full? Let's get the full view. Yeah. So like I mean, if you look at it to some degree, I mean, they both talk about there is vertical progress. And there is, we all ought to vertically progress, otherwise we'll go from past to present to future in the horizontal scale. The vertical progress is different. And, so Maslow kind of showed it in one way, but the ancient, Indian literature in Upanishads, which actually talked a lot about, because Vedas were very heavy on describing, things that you need to do. But then Upanishads talked more about meditation and how to control the mind, etc. And they talked, Upanishads talk about this 5 steps. So think about just eat, drink, and be merry, and security and survival, which is also in the lower end of this Maslow's hierarchy, right? And as you grow further, if I was to super simplify this 5 steps, is I think the realm of the world is the bottom one, so it's wrongly put there. But so realm of the world is about toning your body. Realm of the life is toning your breathing. Realm of the mind is to tone your mind. Realm of the knowledge is to tone your brain. And then realm of love is to tone your sense of identity. So if you take care of these things, I mean, it not necessarily in a sequential order, but there are higher orders anyway. But so if you want to take care of your mind, you have to have some, breathing and like yoga philosophy talked about, like asanas and pranayams, for example. So that was the thought process. But Guru Maharaj said, no, just go straight to the mind. And if you have better control on mind, then you will be able to work out better and keep your health better too. So he said, like, start from the 3rd level. And once you cross that 3rd level is huge. So once you cross that, then you are on cruise control too.
I think he's right. I think the 3rd level is huge because I'm at that, and I always tell myself that I can't reach the peak because I'm stuck
So
between.
you are here for a reason, right?
Well, let's say yes. So actually, I think so now, but I think I get stuck. I think a lot of people in life, depending on, we all have different life circumstances, but I do struggle with the realm of mind, and getting to that peak is, I've been stuck at that for a long time, but I don't know. I mean, now I've met you and I've joined this, and it is very interesting, but I always felt that it was the situation in my life that probably I couldn't get to that peak, because I just think that I
No,
struggle with that. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. But yeah, it is really fascinating for me to have
yeah,
mentioned that. Then you've brought it up. Thank
yeah.
you for showing me.
No, we all struggle through that. There is absolutely no doubt about it. And struggle in itself, I was telling in another session that uh, makes it stirs the pot in so many ways. Struggles are important to continue the accent to the top. And the only thing I would say is like what I learned in this life and through satsang was that yes, reaching the top is possible, and it definitely is. And Guru Maharaj said that a lot of things that were um, you know um, that were just told from person to person, he documented it in his books, and I think that this definitely, is a way to get to the oasis, as Arvindji said. So, wow, this is one of the longest sessions we have had in a long time. Wow, awesome. So yeah, so hopefully we'll, if you still have time. Otherwise, I think today's meditation was great, and we'll.
Thank you. I feel like I'm the only one. Has everyone gone? I
No.
feel like everyone's disappeared. I just can only see your I can only see your one right
Oh,
now.
no. So, Yuan, can you bring the grid view now? Yeah, there you go.
Here we are.
All right, very good. So, thank you. Appreciate you all being here. So Gautam, Eddie, Arvindji, Poonamji, Suchi, Shivangi, Himanshu, Luz, Warren, Shiv, Onkar, Meenakshi, Mahimaji. So, yeah, Reena, thank you so much. It was a real pleasure. And Luz, thank you again. Wow.
Namaste, Bhaiya ji. Namaste, everyone.
Namaskar. And bye. So see you soon. All right. Take care.
Namaste. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Benji. Thank you, everyone. See you later.
See you a little later. Yeah. Namaskar.
Namaste. Bye-bye.
Namaskar.